Good evening. Good evening, Conscious Creators. Welcome to the Conscious Creators Toolbox, Thursday, October the 1st, 2020. I'm Jean Aaron, life coach, life and accountability coach, and tonight is Thursday. We're here every Thursday at 7. Every Thursday at 7 to look at our creative abilities, our creative powers, kind of close up and take a look close up and personal, if you would, and just kind of identify them, discover what they are, what we have available for us, kind of identify who we are, what we are, whose we are, and what we are empowered to do, and what we are what we inherited as creators, conscious creators. Welcome again. It's Thursday, October the 1st, 2020. This is actually our first night broadcasting live on our YouTube channel. We will be hopefully going forward with that in the future. I'm just trying to get I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Yeah, there it goes. Want to turn my music off. We're gonna be actually broadcasting live YouTube channel going forward. Hoping to get hold of a couple of moderators so that we can have a two-way kind of conversation with everybody. You can comment, ask questions, and we can respond to your comments and your questions in the future. We're working on that. A couple of announcements I'd like to make. We are planning on recording this and uploading it. Hi, good afternoon. Uploading it to sharing it with our partner, Interfaith Truth Center, located in Austell, Georgia. It's 4971 Austell Road in Austell, Georgia. We are part of their mission of their programming over there. In the past, we were actually meeting at the facility there on Austell Road. But COVID happened, and we kind of had to go virtual, to go online, and we tried a little Zooming, and we were previously on Facebook. We were broadcasting Facebook every Thursday night, and that got kind of cumbersome a little bit, kind of troublesome, trying to figure out how we can cover all the platforms. So the YouTube channel seems to be working, seems to be user friendly and really kind of be friendly for what we want to do in the future. Without with excess cost, and it goes out to a wide range of the communities. Really, it's a diverse community, and we're excited about that. So, welcome. Just wanted to tell you about Interfaith Truth Center. Yes, I would like to say that if you are interested in making a donation to the channel or to this particular program, the Conscious Creators Toolbox, we're going to ask you can do it in either two ways. You can make a donation online with the Interfaith Truth Center at www.interfaith.com. And you can make a donation there, and that would be tax deductible because that is a nonprofit organization, which we are a part of. Our program is a part of that. I am also a life coach, and I am also, available to receive donations as well, to actually to manage and help fund and pay for this platform here, and hopefully hiring some moderators to help us be able to have a two-way platform, two-way conversation, kind of back and forth. So if you're still inclined to do that, we accept donations again from if you want to use it as a tax deduction, you can go on to the www.interfaith.com and look for them at 49 on Austell Road. They are a metaphysical gift shop, gift store, as well as they have a community, nonprofit community. They provide services, as a nonprofit organization and agency as well. So take a look at them, and if you are making a donation to Interfaith, and on our behalf, make sure that you indicate that it is for the Conscious Creators Toolbox. They have various programs and various programmers and various vendors and folk that kind of come under their umbrella. So if you are making a donation on behalf of Conscious Creators Toolbox, let them know that, so that they'll give me a little high five and hurrah as well. There's no minimum. There's no maximum donation. I like the maximum part, but there's absolutely no minimum. We are acceptable of absolutely any contribution you make to the organization and to their to the program and the agency there as well. If you are making a donation directly to me as a life coach, and to our program, Aaron and Associates, you can do that via Zelle, PayPal, and it's always Jean Aaron. Jean, JeanAaron, is my tag on both my PayPal, my Venmo is also that, and I think there's one other one. There's one other one that I'm not remembering what the other one is right off the top of my head. But anyway, it's Jean Aaron. JeanAaron. You can find me there. If you'd like more information about Aaron and Associates Life Coaching, we're a group of life coaches. Have a group of life coaches and accountability coaches, spiritual guides, spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers, Reiki practitioners, Reiki masters. We're light workers. We do light work. So if you're interested in it, you can check us out on our website at www.jeanaaron.com. You can email me at info@jeanaaron.com if you need any information about what we do, how we do it, or if you're looking for a life coach, accountability coach, give us a shout, give us a call. I love new clients, so look us up and come by. But anyway, tonight is the Conscious Creators Toolbox. I don't think I have any other announcements. No. Remind you, on Sunday we do a mini life coach session on our Facebook, on the Conscious Creators Facebook page at 7:00 on Sunday. Every Sunday we call it 7 at 7 on Sunday. It's about a 27-minute mini life coach session where we talk about basically I kind of share. I have an opportunity to share a little bit with about some of my sessions that I might have during the week or previous with clients and just people in general that I meet or whatever. Sometimes with family and with kids and whoever I kind of share, but it's usually an opportunity to understand a little bit more about just manifestation is probably my forte. I love that, and I love helping folk identify their creative abilities and fine tune them and really learn how to use them to manifest. So usually that's my take on life coaching. I know a lot of people do a lot of different coaches kind of focus on different things, but I love helping people understand who they are and what they are, whose they are, where they came from, and what they are endowed and empowered and inherited as creators and co-creators of their lives, their destinies, their futures. That's my thing. It's my take. So tonight we are going to be talking about consciousness and individuality or individualism. I'm going to do a little bit differently than what I had anticipated, earlier, in the week. I was going to, just kind of take, well, we were using the same topic and subject matter last month. And we had during the 4 sessions we did last month, and there were so many questions that came up. We did it on Zoom. We had a Zoom session, and we weren't able to, do the interact, to kind of two-way. It's like we normally do when we're in a like a session in person where we sit down and we kind of share. I have an opportunity to to kind of give a 15-20 minute lecture, and then we do we kind of interact with one another and kind of break off in session in groups or pairs or whatever to kind of just really experience what we just discussed, what we just talked about. So we weren't able to do that, and we're not able to do that in this particular case. So what I did is I had them email me, chat me, send me their questions, and I've been kind of answering and responding to them via emails and text messages, just to get back. But I kept those questions because they were really a lot of very interesting questions that folk had in regards to the consciousness and awareness, and how you kind of get down to the nitty gritty of who you are. I remember a year or so ago, I did a session, and it was called Removing Your Mask. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about those masks tonight, just a little bit, because when we're talking about our individuality and who we really are, when we get down to the core and to the essence of who we are, there's a lot of layers, and there's a lot of stuff that we've put on ourselves, that we've taken on, or people have given us, and we tend to, and that it's basically called enculturation. We get in culture, that's part of the culture. We just, we get to be, this to this person and that to that person, and on our jobs we're this person. We're an engineer, or we're a doctor, we're a life coach, we're a teacher, we get all those things, but who are we really? What is that individual? What's the individual being who are we? Who are we? What are we? First of all, before I go any further, because I don't like to, I always like to take advantage of a microphone or an audience, and I'm hoping I'm going to get an audience before this is done with. But I would like to share. I want to remind you who you are. Who you are, down to the basic core of who you are. And you are a created being. You're a created being. You are a creator who's created by creation creator, and you are created out of the same stuff that creator is made of. You're unlimited, you're unrestricted, you're an infinite, you are forever and for always a being created in the image of the creator, and you're created out of the same stuff that creator is created of. And you can do the same thing, same everything that creator can do. You're made of the same stuff. You're made out of, if creator can call those things that be not as they are, and he can call light out of darkness, you can do the same thing. And a lot of times we don't take advantage of that, because what we do is we limit our understanding of who creation and what creation and who creator is. And basically, when we limit that understanding, or that perception, or that knowing of who creator is, it also limits us. Because if we are the same stuff that creator is, as God is, there's nothing that God can't do. There's nothing outside of the power and the might of God, outside of the might and power of creation, universe, I am, whatever that higher being that you call it. I'm not talking religion tonight, and I'm not, calling I'm not calling no, denominational names or nothing like that. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about that higher power, that higher being, the essence of everything, or the everything. That's what I'm talking about tonight. And no denominations on it. If you want to put a denomination, I'm going to tell you to put this on it. LOVE. That's the only denomination I want you to put on any and everything that I call and I express as God, and it's a higher power, and it's higher, that higher being is the creator of creation, universe. It's love, pure, unadulterated, unculturated, uncut by human hands and minds. It's unconditional love. It's that consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that with Jesus, if you're a student of the Bible, Jesus, the story of Jesus. That is the same. That was what he was expressing, and that's what he was teaching, and what he taught. He lived and he walked. That was the essence of his being. And whether you believe in Jesus or not, or you whatever, if you know the story, believe, just listen and hear the story and hear the things that he taught. Those are really real. That is really truth, and it's really real. Love is a power to be it's who you are. It's the essence of who you are. So when we're talking about consciousness and individualism, if you're not expressing the love, because that's the energy, that's what you're created out of. Call it energy, call it, you can call it, I don't know, whatever. But it is It is it's who we are. It's the essence of who we are. So when we before we get all the titles and all the roles and all the names and all the whatever that we give ourselves and take on, then before all of that, that's what we are. We're just pure energy, pure love, pure. The life of us is love. The energy of us, the source of us, the source of our being is love. So you are an infinite, unlimited creator, co-creator with universe, with each other, with one another. Any and everything that you desire or that you dream about, you can create, you can manifest, you can bring into your being if you believe that. You are only limited. You are only limited by what you believe. And I'm here to tell you that there is nothing impossible to God. And you are a godling. You are a chip off the old block. You're a spark off the old light, the wholeness. You have that same everything, that same source. It's available to you. It's part of you. It's who you are at your core. So that's who you are. Now, we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of unravel a little bit about who we are tonight, because I want to talk a little bit about consciousness and the experience of consciousness or the awareness of consciousness. What I want to do is I want to kind of start with, and I'm going to kind of go back to the first session that we did last month. And what we did is we looked at consciousness as a body of water. Think of it as a body of water, and think of that water as living, as a life. It's life. It's living, and there's just one body of water, and that's all there is just this body of water. There's nothing else, and it's just this body of water, and out of this water, maybe a little bubble will pop up, and it's just becoming aware. It's aware that it is. It is. It doesn't know what it is, but it knows that it is because it's aware. It can look around and it has some sensitivity or some. It's just aware. It's understanding that I am. I don't know yet what I am, but I am. Yeah, okay. That is consciousness. Just consciousness, just a blank sheet of or a blank body of water, or a blank sheet of paper, or a blank, just something empty and open, but it's aware that it exists. It's aware that it exists. Okay. In order for that body to understand who and what and how it is, it's gotta, how does water, to experience itself, to experience its essence of who it is, it has to be a part. It can't just, it has to stand outside of itself to really go back and look at itself. So think of yourself as that. You are a part of that wholeness. And in order for that wholeness, that creation, to experience the many, 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 many facets, the infinite facets of your being, your beingness, your existence, your consciousness, it has to be able to separate itself. Okay, I can't experience the total God being just God. Just being that one person, that one individual person, if you would. So and this is deep, and I ask you to kind of keep an open mind, because I'm kind of getting metaphysical here a little bit with you, and a little bit, Twilight Zone too, I don't know, or Star Trek or whatever. But bottom line, if you have one, just a single entity, a single whatever, in order for that, and in order for that one single entity to really get an understanding of who and what and what it is and how it is and what it's made out of and what it can and can't do, and has to be more than one. Okay, because something has to. Let me see. I want to put this. Uh, and sometimes I wish that I was a physicist or a quantum. Yeah, I wish I was all those things. But okay, all right. Gonna back up a little bit. I'm the water. I'm this body of water, and I'm wet. Okay, because water is wet. Water is cool. Now to experience that, then I gotta separate the wet so I can, know what the difference. How do I know wet? I have to be dry. So I gotta create a part of me. It's got to be dry so that I can experience that wetness. Okay, I gotta separate a part of me to be warm so I can feel, so I can know the difference between warm and cold. So think of all of every possible experience that you can have or that you've had that you've had, and you can only have one experience at a time. You can only experience one thing at a time. We can only live one life at a time and have one experience at a time. We can have many experiences during the day, but we can only entertain and understand and really experience that experience one experience at a time. So in order to understand what wet is, then I got to be dry so I can know the difference. All right. And that creation, that separation, if you would, that separation is really the beginning of it's almost the beginning of a loneliness in a way, because I mean, even though if God is one and he's all whole, then he is, you kind of think of it, and I'm using a him or pronoun here, but you think of a whole as being a very lonely being, a very one lonely being floating out there and never in nothing and nothingness. But in order to experience itself, it has to be more than just itself. It has to be another in order to understand the experience. And a lot of people will say, well, how do you manifest? How do you create? Well, the only way you create is you have to have something. You have to have another person. You have to have a partner to create. So in order for us to experience, or for God to experience all the many facets of God, all the everything of God, God had to be separate. He had to separate and go into bits and pieces. And thus here I am, a spark. There you are, a spark. There's another spark. And each individual spark is a unique consciousness and a unique awareness and a unique experience, if you would, of the whole, of just the whole, the one whole. I am getting you guys lost. I can feel it. I guess I'm kind of feeling lost myself in a way. So, and I do wind myself up in this conversation because it's really kind of deep. It's really deep. But I want you to really think about God as one. And you can think about this on your own sometime. Just kind of the wonders of the oneness of God. And then you think about you and me and all the many pieces and all the many people that they are and individuals that they are. And we each have our own unique perception. I can't see what you see. I don't have the same identical perception that you have. You don't have the perception that I have. I can tell you, express it to you. I can describe it to you. And, as another human being to another human being, you might understand it, but you don't have the true essence of that perception because it's mine. So that perception, that individual perception, looking at the world through my, out from behind me into out there, that's how I see it. You're looking at it from your perspective, and it could be totally different. We can explain it and we can express it and we can share the understanding of it, but we can't have that same identical perception ever. And that's why there's so many. I mean, to me, that's why God created so many of us, so that God can have all of those experiences, because we are all God. We get an opportunity to experience many things in our lifetimes. or lifetimes, if you would, if you believe in reincarnation and coming back, we can have an infinite number, and we do have an infinite number, and they go on and on and on and on and on. But we can only have one individual perception at a time. All right, just one. So when you think about who you are as compared to God as a whole, I want you to really, just be at awe about it. Just kind of scratch your head sometimes and wonder, because it's really very hard to grasp sometimes, but it's very, very real, and it's very, very true of who we are. We are part of that whole, but we're also one piece of that whole, having one individual perception or experience of each other, of the other, or the others, and there, we can have many acquaintances, or many co-creators, as there are people in the world. We can interact with tons and tons of people. So we're creating, and we're co-creating with each other, having the experiences that we desire and that we want to have with each other. We can't have it by ourselves, because if there was nothing else in the world but just us, we would never, we wouldn't have that interaction so that we could create the experiences that we have. So we need each other. We need each other to have that experience. We need each other to have the happy experiences, as well as the terrible ones that we manage to have, the fights and the conflicts. So we need the other. We need another for that. Now I'm talking about individuality. So I'm gonna move away from the splitting up and the bits and pieces that we are, but I want to look at us as an individual. When we are, and we call ourselves aware, and we call ourselves awakened. And consciousness in itself is conscious. And you can be aware that you're conscious, but it's, again, it's your individual perception of that awareness and of that consciousness. And I like to ask people, who are you? When you start talking about you as that individual person, and you're trying to back yourself out and get down to the core, what do you start with? What do you start with? Are you the things that what you do? If I can ask you, or what do you do? What are some of the names that you call yourself? Some of the roles that you play in your life, the titles that you have? Is that really truly you? Or is that a title or an identity that somebody's given you? Okay, are you the things that you create, the things that you manifest, and you bring in the experiences that you have? Is that you? Are you the thoughts? Are you the feelings that you have? Are you that the joy, that happy-go-lucky person? Is that really you, or is that an identifier or identity of you, or just a role that you're playing, or an experience that you're having? Okay, who are you? Who are you? After just strip away all those labels, strip away all those roles, strip away all those feelings, all those thoughts you have. What are you? Who are you? You're not your thoughts, I'll tell you that. You're not your feelings. You're not the roles that you play. You're not whatever your name might be and whatever that name represents to you. You're not that. That's just a representation of you. It's just an identifier of you. It's just a role that you're playing. It's just an experience that you're having. It's just a thought that you're having. It's just a feeling. But it's not you at the core of who you are. Okay? Going back to the individuality, individualism. Who are you? Who are you? What are you? What are you? I'm going to give you more questions than I'm going to give you answers tonight, because I really want to leave you with some things to think about and really to ponder and to wonder about, and ask yourself and try to identify, strip all of those identifiers away, all of those roles away, and go and find out, answer the question, who am I? Who am I? Am I what I think I am? What do you think you are? What are some of the things? What are some of the thoughts that you have about yourself? Is that really you? If you stop thinking that, would you disappear? If you change your thought, would you be somebody else? You feeling happy today? Is that you? Is that feeling of joy you? If you get sad, is that going to be you tomorrow? Well, you know what I'm going to tell you. I will say this. You are a different person from one moment to the next. You are not the same person. You're not the same whoever you are at your core that you were last week or last month or last year. You're not. We evolve absolutely from moment to moment through the experiences that we do have and the roles that we play. We're gaining more understanding and more information and changing our perceptions of the world that we exist in and the roles that we play, and we're becoming evolving into a different whatever we are, absolutely every moment, every experience, and every breath that we take and exhale, we are a different person, a different being, a different whoever and whatever it is that you're going to get to the core of one of these days and find out to the core of what you really are, right? I'm gonna throw a little wrench in here, and I'm gonna toss this out to you, and it's just a toss out, and I'm not gonna leave you with it tonight. I'm just gonna just toss it out. If you are made out of the same stuff that Creator is made out of, it might be helpful to go back and understand who is God to you, who is the creation to you. Who is that creation? What is that creation? Understand that, because that's what you are made out of, the same stuff the Creator is made out of. So you may want to start there if you really want to get to the bottom of who you are and take away all those masks and step out of all those roles and undress yourself down to who you are. Start there. Start with who God is to you and what you understand about God and what you believe and what your perception of who your higher power is, that higher being, that higher whatever, however you identify God. And again, that might take a while too to get through to that. But parallel yourself with that, because whatever it is that represents God to you, it's you. It's the same as you. So I say that because we always like to look at something else outside of ourselves to see who we are. And I'm going to tell you the best way, the best way to identify that separateness. If you got to have a separateness, and you are never separate, you're never separate from God, by the way. But if you got to have it to help you identify who you are, then step outside of God and take a look and see who God is to you. And I'm gonna just kind of put that on your plate and leave you with that to kind of think about and let that maybe be your starting point to help you come to understand who you are. But let me tell you, please, please, please do not restrict God. Do not limit God. Okay. So that's good. So that's you have to have a bigger plate, I guess, in that case. But there is no limit to God. Okay. So I want you to make sure that when you're comparing yourself, that you got to have room. Okay. You got to have some room. But start there understanding who God is, because you are created out of the image, created from the image of God, created out of the same stuff that God is created out of. So when you start, if you start there, really start there. I mean, it's a good starting place. I mean, it's a place to start, And like I said, unfortunately, we identify ourselves, or we present ourselves, or we understand, or we become aware of ourselves through relationships and through experiences and through thoughts and through feelings. But that's not really us. Those are some of our attributes, or some of our powers, and some of our abilities, and some of the things that we can do and we can act out and experience. But it's still not us. It's still not who we are at the core. Who we are at the core. right? And it's a deep, it's really, it's a, it's a subject that is, that of course we can sit and debate and we can discuss and we can, turn upside down and look, and we never will, it's gonna always be a mystery, gonna always be basically a mystery. But you want to understand that you are that mystery. You want to understand how deep that mystery is, because that's what you are. That's who we are. As mysterious as God might be to you, and as awesome as God might be to you, that's what you are. That's what you are too, because you are the image. You're the apple of God's eye. You are you are a chip off the old block. You're made out. You're the stuff. You're the same thing. You are God's. I remember growing up. My grandmother used to call us little godlings, little godlies. I think she called us godlies. And she had us running around because we were really naive little kids, and whatever grandma said, it went. She knew she was God's right hand man, I guess, or whatever. But she had us believing that we could do anything. We could do anything. We could be anything. We could go anywhere. We had yes, yes, and amen was our thing. And the only limits that were put on us is things that she told us that we couldn't do. Right? Okay. That God was opposite. Grandma said we couldn't do that, so we didn't do it. But start there. Go back to being that little child, that innocent little person again. Because when you come here, when you're born, you don't know. You're just aware. You're just aware that you are. You don't understand what's all this stuff that's happening. All of a sudden, what's going on down here. My bottom's wet. Something's chilly, or my stomach's kind of rolling around. What's going on, and I'm gonna cry, and somebody's gonna come to the rescue, and they gotta let me know that I must be hungry because they're putting some stuff in my mouth, and I'm gonna fill my tummy up, and that's gonna satisfy. So we come here just aware. Not of nothing, not of anything going on in this world, but we come here aware that we are. And then mommy and daddy and sister and brothers and teachers and preachers and police and doctors and nurses, they start telling us who we are. You're wet. You're hungry. You're cute. You're a happy baby. Oh, you're crying. You're a crybaby. Then they start giving us all these titles, and then we start forgetting who we are. We were just raw consciousness, raw awareness. And to be a part of this world, we had to be enculturated so that we could understand that when things are going on in your stomach, maybe it's hungry, maybe I need to find something to eat, put in so we had to, that's just part of life. But we can still do that. We can still understand that we play all these roles and we have all these feelings because we need them. We need them. That's part of our creating our experiences. All these things that we get enculturated to do, it's part of that. But we want to hold on to the essence of who we are, or we want to be able to go back and understand what the essence that we are. Because when we do that, we can not only respect and love and appreciate ourselves, but we can love and appreciate each other. Okay, because then we know, once we are aware of who we are, then we know who you are. I know who you are. You're me. You're another piece of me, because we're made out of the same stuff. And how dare I, have some offense toward you? It's like being offended from because of this. One eye is brown and whatever. It's we are who. Once we understand that, once we really get back to the core of the individual. So tonight we're talking about an overview of all of this, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit more about, waking up to the awareness, and then how we can go back and maintain an understanding of that awareness so that we don't lose who we are. And we're going to understand in that understanding and in that searching, in that going back and really appreciating it, we're gonna get to the core, and basically the core is that energy is called love. It's unconditional, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who grabs it and who takes it or whatever. It's gonna it's going to allow you to do and manipulate and transform it and make it into whatever you desire it to be, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing or a right thing or a wrong thing or a left thing or a right thing, up thing or down. You can do whatever you want to with it, and it's not going to tell you, you can't make me into a Rolls Royce. I'm not, I don't want, no, you grab that energy and you grab that love and you create whatever you want to create. Hopefully you'll want it to be the best. So like the I remember the old folk used to tell us growing up, if whatever you be, just be the best. And you're gonna be a street washer, streets, clean the streets, be the best one. So whatever it is that you do, if you're gonna be the crook, be the best crook, okay? If you're gonna be the meanest person, be the meanest one, be the best meanest. Whatever it is, just make it your best. Do your best, make it your best. Individuality is basically the topic that we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk a little bit more about it next week as well, and I'm not sure how I want to do it. But tonight, I just really wanted to put it all out there and tell you, what a vast, what a huge, what a humongous undertaking I have a nerve to try to take by helping you understand that while you are part of the whole, where you are the part of the great I am. You are the great I am. You are the creator of your universe, your reality, your understanding. You are the manifester. You are the creator of that. But then there's me, and then there's her, and then there's him, and then there's all of them. And what makes us different? The only thing that makes us different is that we're looking at this. We're looking out at this. At everything individually. I can't see what you see. I can think I can. You can tell me, you can describe what you see with your eyes. You can't perceive you can't perceive my perception. That's that's the only thing that makes us different, is that the individual, because we're barring the physical, because we all look different, and we all, I'm tall, I weigh this much, and I'm an African American, I'm black or brown or whatever. Like my grandson says, Grandma, why do you say you're black? Because you're not, you're brown. But anyway, I'm brown. You may not, you may be a little bit more, yellow or red than me, whatever, or you may be white or whatever. We physically, we're different, but at the core of who we are, that part of us out, inside this earth suit, inside this physical being, it's the same. It is the same. And that piece of us is the eternal piece. That's the piece that being is forever. It's energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. So it's an eternal part of the eternal part of us, the forever part of us, is that true being in us that gives us the life. And hopefully it's a good life. Hopefully it's a loving life. Hopefully it's a positive life. Hopefully it's a life full of light, love, and hope. Not always, because we know people that are dark. We know people that feel hopeless, and they woe is me, and no matter how you twist and turn and beg and plead with them and pacify them and do everything, they're still going to have a darkness about them, because that's what they choose. That's how they're looking out and perceiving the world in that perspective, in that way. But hopefully, when we start looking at understanding who God is and getting a really good grasp on that, and that's always the starting point. We're not going to talk a lot about God, we are, but our main focus is going to be on what makes us unique and individual, and why it's so important for us to understand that we're unique and individual, but appreciate not only my uniqueness, but understand that in order for me to have the experience that I have, you have to be unique. Because if you're the same as I am, and you perceive like me, then what good is what that's, we're going to be doing the same things. We're going to be perceiving the same thing. We want different perspectives so that we can have different experiences. We want a different take on the water, because we know that this water, water is warm, but what water can be cold, water can be have various degrees. Water can be, yeah, but it's wet, or we know we want to experience as much of the universe, the creation. We want to be able to create the variety or the infinite that is available to us to create. There's nothing that we can't create if we can conceive it, if we can perceive it in our individual perceptions, or we can create it, we can manifest it. So that's the gift. The gift. Why the gift is life, but the preciousness of it, or the uniqueness of it, the unique. I think that the uniqueness of it is to me is the bigger gift, because if we were all the same, then we would be lonely. We would be one thing doing the same thing always, the same way, look, and that's not what God wanted for God. What God wants for us, God wants to experience every bit of life, every bit of it, and that experience comes through each other, through one another. We help each other with those experiences. I hope I got you good and lost. I hope I got you good and lost. Because what I want you to do over the next few days up until next week, hopefully you'll join me next week, and I'm going to pull you out of the darkness that I've thrown you into. I want you to really think about who God is to you, because that's really the starting point of really understanding who you are. And really understanding not only who you are, but what you are capable of, and what you have available to you. Get to know. And I don't know, you call me up and we'll talk. We'll talk God if you want to, or pray, meditate, ask, go into yourself and ask yourself, who are you, Father? Who are you, God? Who are you? Who are you to me? What is it? What is it that you see in me? Or how am I to look at you, God? And understand that it's not out there. It's not out there that you're going to find the answer. It's going to be an internal thing. It's going to be your unique experience, and your unique conversation, your unique interaction with that inner part of you, which is really you, which is it's a piece of God, but it's God, because it's the same stuff. So get to know this week. I want you to get to know, just, brainstorm, spirit storm, soul search, go deep, dive deep, find out who God is to you, and understand that I'm going to convince you that whatever it is that you think that whatever it is that you've come up with, an understanding of who God is, I'm going to challenge you to, of course, believe it, but apply it. But I'm going to also convince you that it's even more than what you have come up with, because it is. God is always much more than what we can even imagine, what our minds can imagine, of course, because our minds are made for this side of forever, and it's not forever, So it's always more. It's always more. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to share with you some of the things that people share with me, because then you talk to each other. You can talk to each other too. If you've got somebody that that you can talk to. I'm looking at who God is to me. Who's God to you. Talk to other people and see what it is, because I promise you, we tend to limit God by our understanding, but if we open ourselves up and our hearts up and our minds up to the infinite possibility of who God is, then by George, that's who you are too. Or by Sally, or by Tom, or by Bill, or whoever, Charlie, whoever you are, by George, you are that and then some. You are always you are always, always more than you could even imagine that you are, because God is always more than we could ever imagine that He is. Because our minds can't contain the totality, the wholeness of the vast understanding, the depths of God. So, we just do the best we can with what we got, because we're only earthlings. We're only earthlings here. We process it with this earthly stuff. But, we do have a spirit man in there. And we do have a consciousness and an awareness, and that is the connection to that vast, that mysterious God, totality of God. That's that source. We're connected to that source through our being, through who we really are, through that sameness that God is. We're the same. So if we make that connection, then we'll get that spiritual understanding. We may not be able to verbalize it sometimes, because that's spiritual things are not natural things. Spiritual understanding is not man understanding, but there will be a deep knowing and a deep understanding and a deep appreciation of who you are, and how and when that opens up to you, you're gonna have this light bulb that kind of comes on, and you're gonna be, wow, I should have known that 10 years ago, or yesterday, or whatever. But you know it now, and then it's just a chip off the old. It's just a little. It's not even. It's just a start. It's just always a start. So I'm gonna stop here. I think I'm gonna stop here, because I think I've got 10 minutes. But I do want to encourage you. Next week, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of dive into a little bit more of the individual piece, and why that individual, why the individual is so important. And I'm hoping that, when we get done with this, my hope is that you will have such an appreciation of who you are, and in relationship to each other, that you dare not do anything but love each other and appreciate each other, and love to hold and understand that it is your opportunity to hold space in your heart and in your being for one another, rather than distancing yourself or trying to compete with one another. Just experience one another and appreciate the experience. But first of all, understanding and loving who you are. Because I promise you, once you understand and love who you are, there's no stopping you from loving and understanding who your brother, your sister, your neighbor, your enemy. You'll understand all that, and you'll have nothing but love for the other, because you need the other, because the other is you. But that's for another day, another month, another now, next time. So I'm going to leave you with homework. Who is God to you? Who is God to you? What is God to you? You want to call God a thing? What is God to you? But don't come back here telling me that God is out there, because I'm going to send you back to do some more homework, because God is not out there. God is in here. God is in there, inside of you. So start there. You go in to ask yourself. That you go in to ask. You don't go out to ask. You go in to ask, who are you, Father, to me? Who are you, God, to me? Who are you, my higher power, my higher being, that higher being? That's where you go. You don't go out there, because God is not out there. Not that connection is inside here. So that's what you got to do. You got to dig deep. You're going to dig deep, and you're going to find out, who God is to you. And next week we're gonna take that understanding, and then we're gonna move on to who you are to God. And then we're gonna take it a little further, who you are to me, who I am to you. And then I'm gonna send you guys away, and you guys are gonna be loving on each other like you ain't never loved before. I appreciate you guys being with me tonight. I'm Jean Aaron, life coach and accountability coach, spiritual teacher. I share my understanding, and I promise you, sometimes I can't, because I can get an understanding from a spiritual standpoint, and it's just not there's no words for me to express it sometimes. So I try to do the best I can. Sometimes I confuse people because I do that, but I do what I can do. But my prayer is that if you give me something to share, God, Father, universe, give me the words to articulate it to the people that need to hear it. Sometimes, sometimes I think that spirit to spirit talks too. So I say that if I can't get it through words, then help me divide it and share it spiritually to one another. So that's what I do. I get an understanding, I receive an understanding, I get all these hopefully downloads from on high, and I just spew them out the best I know how. He's kind of telling me I need to start writing a little bit, so I'm going to try that too. I'm going to see if that helps a little bit if I start transcribing it rather than trying to verbalize it sometimes. And sometimes it does, because I do enjoy writing. So I'll work on that. I'm working on that. My daughter was talking to me the other day, Mom, you need to go on and write. And I am. I'm going to start working on that angle too. But until next week, remember, who are you to me, God? Who are you? What are your attributes? Who are you? Okay. Who are you? That's your job. That's your homework for next week. And I will hopefully see you next week. This particular video, or this recording, will be uploaded hopefully before the weekend. I'm going to get it up on the weekend. And tonight is the full moon. So I'm getting ready to meet some neighbors. We're going to, gonna go and, look at the beautiful full moon. Hope it's not too cloudy out. It was kind of sunny today, so we'll see. Hopefully it's a beautiful day. Anyway, thanks for being with me. Conscious Creators Toolbox, an opportunity to look at your creative abilities. And consciousness is the beginning of you, or the understanding of who you are. It's being conscious and aware and awakened and enlightened to the reality of who you really are. And we're taking a deep dive, and it was kind of it was kind of deep. It's going to be deep. So, get your oxygen tanks and make sure you have your diving gear, because we dive deep. We dive deep sometimes, but it's not all deep, but this one is deep. This month is going to be kind of deep. I'll try to keep it as understandable as I can. See you next week. See you on Sunday if you are so inclined, at 7:00 at 7 for 7 at 7 at 7 on Sunday at the Conscious Creators Facebook group page. We'll be meeting there doing a mini life coach session, to giving you some encouragement, inspiration, motivation to kind of send you off into next week. So have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you next week. And who are you? Who are you? What are you? And whose are you? Manifest best. And I love you guys. Take care. Good night.